Hello, today we're going to be reading a book called Sheep in a Jeep. But before we start reading, I'm going to show you the cover of the book. I want you to look at the pictures and the colors and use your imagination to try and think, what is this book going to be about? So this cover has some animals, it has some other colors. So using those pictures, think about what the book is about and then turn to your partner and tell them what you think the book is about. Remember, when you discuss with your partner, you need to speak and you need to listen. Sheep in a Jeep. How we're going to do this is that I'm going to read first, and as I read, please read with me in your head so that when we read together for the second time, you are familiar with some of the words and you're able to read a little bit better. So I'm going to read first. You're going to read in your head with me. Then I'm going to read a second time, and then we're going to read all together. Right. Sheep in a Jeep. Beep, beep. Sheep in a Jeep on a hill that's steep. Now together. Beep, beep. Sheep in a Jeep on a hill that's steep. Uh-oh, the Jeep won't go. Now together. Uh-oh, the Jeep won't go. Sheep shove, sheep grunt. Sheep don't think to look up front. Now together. Sheep shove, sheep grunt. Sheep don't think to look up front. Jeep goes splash, Jeep goes thud, Jeep goes deep in gooey mud. Now together. Jeep goes splash, Jeep goes thud, Jeep goes deep in gooey mud. Sheep tug, sheep shrug. Now together. Sheep tug, sheep shrug. Sheep yelp, sheep get help. Now together. Sheep yelp, sheep get help. Jeep comes out, sheep shout, sheep cheer. Now together. Jeep comes out, sheep shout, sheep cheer. Oh dear, the driver sheep forgets to steer. Oh dear, the driver sheep forgets to steer. Jeep in a heap, sheep weep. Now all together. Jeep in a heap, sheep weep. Sheep sweep the heap. Now all together. Sheep sweep the heap. Jeep for sale, cheap. Now all together. Jeep for sale, cheap. Now, as we were reading the book, there was something new that was in the book that we're going to talk about today. And that thing is called a digraph. A digraph is when two letters standing next to each other make one sound. So, for example, let's go back to the beginning of the book where we have sheep and Jeep. Now, normally, the sound that makes E is the letter I. But in this word, sheep, you have E for elephant and another E for elephant standing next to each other. Now, if you have an E and an E next to each other, they make the sound E. So instead of using the letter I, we use the letters E for elephant and E for elephant next to each other. Same in Jeep. You have E for elephant and another E for elephant next to each other, and they make the sound E. That's what we call a digraph. Let's look at some more examples. I'm going to read some words, and I want you to try and see if you can spot some digraphs. You need to read and look carefully with me. Beep, beep. Sheep in a jeep on a hill that's steep. Now, if you can spot a digraph, I want you to raise up your hand and come and show us where the digraph is. Very nice. There's a digraph. There's a digraph. There's a digraph. There's a digraph. And there's another digraph. We have E and E next to each other to make E. Let's see if we can spot some more. Uh-oh, the jeep won't go. Now, let's see if we can't find some more digraphs here. Now, I see the word jeep, but there's no letter I in the word jeep, but there are two A's for elephants standing next to each other. So that means we have another digraph. We have E and E next to each other in the word jeep to make the sound E. If you can spot another digraph on this page, raise your hand. I'm going to read. Sheep shove, sheep grunt, sheep don't think to look up front. If you can spot a digraph, raise your hand and come and show us where it is. Very good. We have a digraph there. Whoops. A digraph there. And another digraph there in the word sheep. Let's see if we can find some more. Jeep goes splash. Jeep goes thud. Jeep goes deep in gooey mud. Now, what are some digraphs that you can see here? We've already said that there's a digraph in jeep. We've already said that there's a digraph in sheep. But look carefully and you'll notice that there's a different one on this page. Aha, very good. There is a digraph in deep. We have E for elephant, and together they make E. But there's another digraph that we haven't looked at in sheep. This makes sh, but it's a s and a h and a e and a p that we see in this word. But we don't say eep, we say sheep. So when you have a s and a h next to each other, they come together to make one sound, which is the sh sound. You can see it in shove, in sheep, shove, sheep, sheep, because these two letters come together to make one sound. All right, now for the end of this lesson, let's look at how the story ended. It says, Jeep for sale, cheap. So this ended with the sheep selling the Jeep. Now I want you to think about a more exciting way that you can end the story. You'll have 5 minutes to think about it, and then you'll have to act it out to show everyone the ending of the story. Remember, you need to be quick and you need to show us how the story would end. So here you need to use your imagination. Think about what you would do if you were the sheep. Thank you.